We're gonna make crispy chicken hearts and puffed beef tendon for our Carnivore Halloween Party. Our mission today is to turn these chicken hearts and these beef tendons into a kid-friendly Halloween party. I've noticed that there's a lack of celebration in this whole carnivore genre space. This is such a shame, so today I'm going to make a carnivore Halloween themed party for my family. I'll be including crispy chicken hearts that we do in an air fryer, beef tendon puffs, which are so good, and a roasted Peking duck. I'll also be doing a type of charcuterie board with eggs, cheese, and different types of meats and jerkies. I make these carnivore videos because I know for myself, when I'm only eating meat, I feel so much better. However, you may have gathered that I'm not a purist and I never restrict myself on trips, which is why when you watch my travel videos, I'm gonna eat what I'm gonna eat. I typically only eat one meal per day right now, and that happens to be at night with my family and usually revolves around ribeye or hamburger. My husband Jason committed to this carnivore lifestyle in January 2023 and is down over 50 pounds. It has radically changed his life, and that's one of the reasons I totally support this eating lifestyle, whether I can be perfect at it or not. We also know that eating this way can become a bit boring or one note. So I'm thinking outside of the box so we can celebrate while eating carnivore. And this will cause us to experience new foods like crispy chicken hearts. This party begins with a trip to my local Asian grocery store. I live in California, and ethnic grocery stores are where I easily source less common cuts. I picked up my roasted Peking duck from the food area. A whole duck was only $30. Then I grabbed the chicken hearts and the beef tendon. Afterwards, it was time to return home and start cooking. Okay, so for this party concept, you really do need to start the beef tendon a few days before you're actually going to be having your event. I have a video linked here where I make just the beef tendon puffs. One reason I love traveling is because it exposes me to new foods all the time. The only reason I know about beef tendon puffs is because when we were at Stanley Ranch earlier this year, and I have a video all about that, I enjoyed them at their restaurant. First, we need to brine our beef tendon. Okay, so in my previous video, I shared making the beef tendon, and what I did was that I trimmed them before I brined and pressure cooked them. Today, I'm brining first, pressure cooking, and then trimming them.
Mission failure.
But what I found is that the first method is better. I think you should trim them first, then brine, then pressure cook. And moving forward, that's the process I'll use for making them. For the brine, you're gonna place your beef tendon in a bowl. Add a handful of salt, then cover with vinegar and let sit for 10 minutes. Now it's time to rinse the tendon. I'm using an Instant Pot to pressure cook the tendon. Add your rinsed beef tendon to the pot and cover it with water. Add 1 teaspoon of peppercorn, 8 garlic cloves, and a teaspoon of vinegar. Set your pressure cooker for 90 minutes and let it depressurize naturally. Once cooled, place in a container and refrigerate overnight. This process can be done well in advance. The next day, remove it from the fridge and you'll see how gelatinous it becomes. The next step is to slice them. This is the most challenging aspect. Okay guys, so this is when I'm gonna trim them down, but like I mentioned earlier, it's much easier, I believe, to trim them straight out of the package before brining. You can see there's still a ton of tissue to remove. I cut and then use my fingers to strip away portions that won't work. I know this because I've tried making them without stripping them down entirely, and you end up with pieces that can be as hard as rocks. The dark tissue causes a hard end product, so I remove any color I see. And FYI, this is what the beef tendon looks like if you trim them before brining and pressure cooking them. Once the tendon is isolated, stick it back in the refrigerator for another 2 hours to firm up. Again, if you trim them before cooking, then you save time because you only need to refrigerate them 1 time. Now it's time to try to create paper thin cuts. I don't have great knife skills, and I'm sure in previous videos where I've handled meat and tried to cut it up, you've been like terrified.
I know you guys are traumatized right now. I'm traumatized too.
So I did what any other problem-solving shopaholic would do. I bought a meat slicer specifically for making beef tendon. This was promising, but still kind of a failure for me. The tendon gets stuck to the blade, making it difficult to slice. I sprayed the blade with ghee to eliminate the suction, but it was a hot mess, so I switched back to my knife. Once you have your tendon slices, it's time to dehydrate. You can, of course, do this in an oven, but I have a dehydrator. Because my pieces of tendon are thicker than ideal, I dehydrate them at 120 degrees for 12 hours. Then the next day, I remove them from the dehydrator. I bought 4 packages of beef tendon, and this made 5 trays for my dehydrator. After dehydration, the tendon will be extremely hard, and you should be able to see through it. If any are soft due to thickness, you need to dehydrate them longer. I took all the smaller pieces of tendon and chopped them into bits. These small bits make great keto croutons and crunchy soup toppings. We're finally at the fun stage. We're gonna fry these up. I've tried frying these up in different fats. Vegetable oil works great if you're not worried about seed oils. Ghee is horrible and they will not puff up. This time I found lard at Walmart. No one else in my area had lard. Lard is just rendered down pork fat, and it worked great for frying these up super light and crispy and puffy. So I highly recommend sourcing lard for this project. You want to fry these between 160 and 165 degrees. Once out of the fryer, I salt and pepper them. These puffs are blank canvases, so any seasoning you like will work. Just a reminder, down in the description, I linked to everything I'm using and a blog post associated with this video. Now for the chicken hearts. This is the first time I'm making chicken hearts. I've had them previously at like a Brazilian grill, but those are grilled and on like a spit, so this was a different experience. When I saw that there were recipes for chicken hearts being done in an air fryer, I was really interested and wanted to test it. However, I wanted these to be crispier than the recipes I was seeing online, and I wanted to make them kid-friendly. As you can see, they look like hearts, and when cooked, they become tight little gray balls. This honestly doesn't even look appetizing to me, and I doubt I could have introduced them to my boys in this format. So to make them kid-friendly, I grabbed pork rind crumbs to bread them. Pork rind crumbs are super salty, so you do not need any salt in this recipe. And of course, you can use any seasoning of your choice. I used garlic powder, mustard powder, and white pepper. I never bread anything, but I understand the concept. So I set up a dish with 4 egg yolks scrambled. In my second dish, I added 1 cup pork rind crumbs, 1 tablespoon garlic powder, 1 tablespoon mustard powder, and 1 teaspoon white pepper. Next, in batches, I coated the chicken hearts in the breading mixture and then coated them in the egg mix. I got another dish for the second dredge and added the same breading mixture. Then I packed more breading onto the hearts. Once I had them breaded, I sprayed them with ghee. I sprayed the air fryer inserts with ghee as well. I have the Dual Ninja, and this allowed me to make an entire 1-pound package of hearts laid in a single layer. I set the air fryer to 400 degrees for 20 minutes and use the match cook option to cook both containers simultaneously. At the halfway point, I shake both containers and then return them for another 10 minutes. Once done, I remove them from the air fryer. I think a chipotle mayo dipping sauce would go really well with these. However, to expedite my evening, I picked up a variety package of sauces from Primal Kitchen. So my boys love barbecue sauce, and I told them that these were chicken nuggets so that they wouldn't judge them early on. And my first batch were super salty because I didn't understand that pork rind crumbs were so salty, so that's how I know do not add extra salt. Let's check on our duck. For the duck, I suggest buying it on the day of your party. I placed mine in the fridge until I was ready, and then I warmed it in the oven on a sheet tray. I wouldn't tent your duck in the oven because that could trap in moisture and prevent the skin from being crispy. I wanted to hang my duck above a cauldron in the center of the table and carve off of it, letting the cauldron catch all of my falling pieces. Okay, so rigging a duck like this probably needs more support than my strings and sticks. I did find the Chinese hooks for hanging Peking ducks, and I bought a set off of Amazon, which are linked below, for the next time I do this. But if you don't have a hook, this is what I did. I used 2 long shish kebab sticks through the duck's sternum in my make it work moment. This way the skeletal structure took the weight. Remember, this duck is cooked and it wants to fall apart. I wanted the head to stand tall, so I placed another food stick vertically. Luckily, even without the metal hook, it worked, making my Carnivore Halloween Party extra cool. Last, I removed the cheese, jerky, and hard-boiled eggs from the fridge to create a quick charcuterie area on the table. I used sharp cheddar, string cheese, Swiss cheese, carnivore snack jerky, and 2 versions of Country Archer mini beef sticks. I also included hard-boiled eggs, which my boys enjoy. All of these items also work really great in my boys' school lunches. Now it's time for the verdict. I already knew my boys liked Peking duck because they had it before when we were in China.
It never ends. All right, that's it. Let's go.
And they already enjoy the beef tendon puffs because I've made them previously. But will they eat my crispy chicken hearts? So my first batch was a little salty, right?
Yeah,
What's this batch like?
not too salty at all.
Uh-huh.
Really crunchy. Has a lot of flavor. It's really chewy. Kind of sticky, but not too bad.
Mm-hmm.
And it tastes so good. And they're really healthy. So
Yeah, and don't you think like I could make these and you could just take them in your lunch like a little snack pack?
yeah.
They're like a great snack, especially when you're preparing for football, huh?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm really happy with how this turned out. The beef tendon, although a process, can be done in advance. The chicken hearts are quick in the air fryer, and utilizing a store-bought duck expedited the main dish. So what do you guys think? Would you try crispy chicken hearts in an air fryer? It could be a great way to introduce organ meats into your family's lifestyle. Last, I want to make sure that you guys understand that I am not one of those crazy food restrictive moms. Quite the opposite. The reason I strive to make these videos and look more into options for bettering our health is because I'm like a lot of us. I grew up eating a crazy American diet and it's still in me, and it's difficult to sometimes change those habits. So in this kind of video, I really wanted to try to like explore and push my own boundaries. And in doing so, I hope that inspires you. I hope you enjoyed this year's take on Halloween. If you are a carnivore or you're considering this lifestyle, just know that it's a work in progress for us, at least. I hope that my ideas kind of inspire you to have fun with the holidays and not feel sad because you can't eat like all of your favorite things that you used to. Looking at organ meats and looking at different things that other cultures use, like a Peking duck, for instance, can really help you navigate carnivore and find more meats to include so that on holidays you feel like it's extra special. I'll see you guys on the next video. Do you like it?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
so good. Here.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We went to the place with Peking duck.
Yeah, but my question is, why does he have a third leg?
That's not a third leg. It's just part of his body.